My first guest today is John Buddy Andrade of the Old Bedford Development Corporation. John, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Thank you for inviting me.
Perhaps, I guess Buddy might be best known for leading efforts to honor the families of homicide victims in and around New Bedford, and also fighting for improvements to the former Morse Cutting Tool site in the city, in the South Central neighborhood. But now, really, he's part of a different environmental issue, I think, helping young people stay active and busy through a program at the Gomes School. Basketball is the game, but really this program is a lot more than that, isn't it, John?
Well, it encompasses all the other things you just mentioned about the Morse Cutting Tools, about the Survivors Program. The Survivors Program is about recognizing those who have been murdered through gun violence. And the basketball program and the sports program, youth program that we're trying to do is really to prevent all that from happening. So we don't have to have the vigils for the kids who have gotten murdered. And two young boys that come to my mind is Aaron Gant, who was murdered on New Year's Eve, and a young boy named Mateo from the West End who was murdered last summer. And those two events motivated me to say we got to do more for the young people. And how do we do it? And there was already a program going on at Gomes School that had closed down for ridiculous reasons. And we made a pledge to those young people that we'll get it reopened. And after the young boy died, I made it a mission of mine to reopen up that gym for that purpose, to give the kids something to do and provide a safe zone. When we first opened it up, Jim, it was only supposed to be geared towards the kids in the South End, to give them someplace to go, a safe zone and all that. But kids are coming from all over the city. We have Bishop Stang students. We have Voc Tech students, Norton Mandan, Keith, Roosevelt, Duval School, place Winslow. And that was, for me, the biggest part of the success of what we're having is to show that these many kids can come from all over the city, white, black, Cape Verdean, all different Latino groups. They're playing ball, and you hear the different languages and different conversations, and they're getting along. So the fact that you can't go to this part of the city or that part of the city, that's not true. There are individuals in those neighborhoods who are providing those problems, and they're not as many as people think they are. There are 3 or 4 here, 3 or 4 there, and eliminating those individuals from our community will give us a chance to get these other youngsters into that safe zone and work with them.
So who else is involved in the program, John?
Well, good question, because it couldn't happen unless I had the relationship that I have with the superintendent of schools. Dr. Pierre Durkin has been a big champion in getting us the school space. And then working with the facilities committee, Dr. Finity, Larry Finity, Jack Nobrega, and Bruce Oliveira, and Al Oliveira, who runs all of the schools, working with them as a team, and also Mr. O'Leary from the business department, and Shelley. Those folk have been so helpful. And Lisa Dunway out of the superintendent's office. Then our other partner is the police department. Having them involved in regards to having the kids see, and the chief has been there with them, shaking their hands, watching them play. We've had neighborhood association meetings that the chief has come to, and he's gone down to the gym and see the kids and talk to them, in uniform and out of uniform. So when we talk about those two individuals, the chief and the superintendent, that's where the power is coming from. But the real power comes from all those kids that come into the building.
Now, interesting about the superintendent, I know that there's some people who might think about the superintendent and say, she's kind of a hard person to get along with. The unions.
They're all wrong.
Yeah, but you have a relationship with it. You can go in,
they're all
either
wrong.
Call her or talk to her and make some things happen.
And she's been to our neighborhood association meeting. She was there, 2 months ago. We're inviting her again in June to come. She's been just about every June for the last 3 years. My issue with the school system was and is the quality of the teachers that we had, not just from the educational point of view, but the caring of the kids. And we can say, and I will say, that there have been some defaults there. And I feel that because of those defaults, we have some of these kids who had bad problems at home, bad problems in school. Now they're in the street, and we got to deal with them. And so I like what she's done in correcting the school department in regards to bringing in good quality teachers in, and I think that's been a major difference in the schools.
What makes this program work? You said yourself that these kids are from all over the city, and we know that there's some issues,
Yep. West
End, South End. We know all about that. We see it, and we're going to see it probably again this summer sometime.
Yep.
But how do you break down that barrier?
Well, again, you got to leave it up to the kids. You know, one thing I did with the gym, let me back up. Mr. Butch Silver, who originated the whole program. And then there was some issues with some of the people in the school that the program started when we came back and got it. Mr. Silver is still part of the program. He's still the administrator of the program. And the value of bringing these youngsters into that building or having the space available now gives these kids some ownership to the gym. And what we do, we don't have a whole lot of rules and regulations other than sportsmanship, manners, no swearing, you can't bring food inside the building, those kinds of things. It's an open gym. They police themselves. They set up the teams. They play the games. They have a time limit. They win, lose. The next group comes in. They have a system. We held a tournament for the Aaron Gant tournament. They ran the whole thing. All we did was come up with the money to pay for the referees. It's costly, but we have given them an opportunity to build something that belongs to them. Our goal is to set up an organization of these youth. They have their own board with adult supervisors and all that kind of stuff, so they can begin to organize more youth activities, and they want to do more things. Okay, besides just basketball. And so now let's get them in the room, let's put them at a table, let's let them brainstorm, and then sell it out to the adults so we can get the adults to come and say, hey, we need some money, which is why we started the $20 campaign.
Will this continue through the summer, or is it going to start up again?
It'll end at the end of June. And I have to thank the facilities committee for giving us the gym for the month of May and June because we didn't request it initially. They saw the value in what we were doing and said, hey, go ahead. And so it'll start for the summer, and we're going to come back in the fall with the program. And during this period, we hope to raise close to $10,000 so that we can be a good partner as well, because right now the school department, I would estimate about $8,000 in value that they put in by giving us the gym. The janitors are Tony, the custodian at the Gome School. Tony's just fantastic. And I have to say the big supporter and the backbone of the program has been my sister Sandra Andrade Penn. She's there every day. She coordinates all the stuff. She works with the kids in coordinating things, and she makes sure that I'm on time and everything is all done right. So Sandra has been a very, very, very big piece of all this. But again, the adults, we need more adult supervisors to come and volunteer. We need funding. And so we're doing the $20 campaign, sponsor you $20 campaign. And we figured that would be something that anybody could afford. And so we're going to be going around door to door. I got a whole bunch of phone calls to make, and that's what we're hoping to make, raise the funds. And then we're going to go to some of the foundations and say, well, this is what we've done. What can you do to help match this, what we've raised?
Okay, and this is the Ben Rose Intramural Sports Program, sponsor a youth $20 campaign. And so folks can, on the back, you can sign up, make a donation, and get this to the place that it needs to get, the Ben Rose Recreation Education Center.
Yeah, and that's Post Office Box 7559.
7599.
We have to make a correction on that. Okay. So it's Post Office Box 7559. You can mail your $20 check to that post office box, and we'll get it into the right place. The Community Foundation is our accounting. They handle all our funding, so all the money will be going through the Community Foundation. And all the folk over there, Pam and everybody at the Community Foundation, I thank them for all the work they've done in helping us keeping our books straight.
Well, so it appears it will start again in the fall.
The raising the money, what we want to do, we call this a pilot program right now. We're hoping to raise the money so that when we start in September, it's a full-fledged program that's going to run for 18 months, that we'll have enough money to know that we have an 18-month program for indoor and outdoor activities. We also have 4 family fun days that we're doing this year. We have one Saturday, May 27th at Monty's Playground, Joseph P. Monty Playground. I want to mention Joseph P. Monty because this is the World War I anniversary. Joseph P. Monty was a World War I hero. He was a Cape Verdean who was the first Cape Verdean to get a Purple Heart during World War I, and that's when the park was designated in 1935 to this World War I hero.
You're listening to Townsquare Sunday. My guest is John Buddy Andrade. You have a cleanup day planned. It was rained out earlier in the month of May. And now you've got a new date. Tell us about that.
Well, yes, what we're doing is we're calling it the Go Green campaign. Every day is Earth Day, and we were planning this one for April 22nd. So we're moving it to May 27th. 8 to 12 is our cleanup around Monty's Playground, the neighborhood around Monty's Playground, and then from 11 to 4 would be the family fun day, and we'll have free hot dogs, popcorn, cotton candy, the bouncy, everything is free, and moms and dads, please come, but you can't get in the park unless you have kids.
All right.
Unless you're a granddad.
There you go.
Okay.
A few weeks ago, Buddy, you made some news following a shooting in the South End. We talked on the phone. You wondered if the surveillance cameras were working in the South End. And I sense those remarks are really made because of frustration with, oh no, here we go, another summer, and we've got people shooting at each other again. Do you really not have faith in the police to get this straight?
Well, it's a quagmire, and it's a little bit of quicksand here as well, because we're hearing about all these cameras, and then we have an incident, and it takes a week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks to find out what the heck happened, or even an arrest may take place or whatever. My position is that if we're having shootings and we got cameras, then there should be an immediate determination as who, what, when, and where happened, not this long-term, drawn-out situation as to who would happen. Does the camera work? Does the camera not working? Is this camera's working? All this confusion. And then what leads to the community saying, well, what the hell is going on? We're not safe. Why the cops are not here in the community? They're telling us the cameras are here. Well, if the cameras aren't working, then bring the cops in the community. So people have some legitimate issues about this. My frustration comes when I have to hear this from the community all the time. Oh, I thought you said, buddy, that the camera was working. We got one on Wing Street. We got one at Monty's Park. We got one here. Well, how come this kid could shoot somebody in broad daylight at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you can't catch him? Then he comes back 3 days later and he's shooting up somebody's house. Then he's up the West End shooting up somebody else's. And we know it's the same individual and we can't get him. So there's frustration in the West End and in the South End because the stuff is going on. And then come to find out it was one individual who was mad at everybody else that was causing all this problem. This was the guy that got arrested for the gun charge, got released, got arrested again for being in a stolen car.
Rayshawn Lewis, I think.
And all that stuff happened. So we have some legitimate issues about are the cameras working? How fast does it take to do this? But I will say that once we knew that the police had their man, knew who they were talking about, knew this is what they were going to do, I zipped up and let the police do their job. Because I know they know what they're doing. I know they can do the job. However, they got to be be accountable to the community as to whether or not these things are working or not working, and how does the community feel safe.
So the police haven't talked to you since the arrest, so they haven't said much. Of course, the case is still pending. We want to be
well. The case is pending. The most important part, the kid is off the street. Whoever the individual is off the street. That's the most important part. Now, we have asked District Attorney Quinn if he's able to come to our next community meeting, which is the 25th, Tuesday the 29th, I'm sorry. May 29th is our next Neighborhood Association meeting, because we need to have some questions answered about what are the judges doing? What is the probation officers doing? Okay, all of these things that come to the judiciary, okay, need to be dealt with. The judiciary, the police department, public safety, and the community. Having all that stuff communicated in a proper way so that everybody understands the process and doesn't get frustrated and start pointing fingers, or the cop didn't do his job, or the DA didn't do his job. But it was the judge who didn't do the right thing.
I have to tell you, we're running out of time here, but 25 years ago, if John Andrade told me, hey, I got an award from Whale, Waterfront Historic Area League, I wouldn't have believed it. But you have got an award, the
Yes.
President's Award, for really for saving property.
Saving property, and I would like to think that we also saved some lives because of the young men who did the work. Myself and Danny Gomes, who were the supervisors for these young people out of the Safe and Successful Youth Initiative, were the ones who did the work. But I tell you, 20 years ago, I would have been shocked as well. But I am just as shocked now, and so proud and humble to be able to receive this award. Terry Burnett and others from Whale, Diane and Amanda and Sherry, I thank them a whole bunch. And all the board members, Andy Burns, who I hadn't seen in many years, he was now the president of the board. Whale has done a lot of good things in the community. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. Historically, all the historical buildings. Our issues was how the South End, what we call Old Bedford Village, was being treated in that whole historical development stuff. And we now know that there are 3 buildings in our neighborhood that have been saved and under construction right now, because of the work and efforts of Whale, and we're so proud to be part of that.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And I think the whole neighborhood should be proud of it, because they've seen the Whale people walking around the neighborhood, looking at this building, looking at that. Oh, what are you going to do with this? The only sad part about it was that we lost one building that we wasn't able to save, and that was the Johnny Papa's building. Right. And that was the only one. But they tried. I'll give them an A+ for effort.
John Buddy Andrade, thanks for coming in. Good luck with the after-school program, the program that we talked about at the Gomes School. And it's that could have some real potential.
Well, it has a lot of potential, because we got the kids as young as 6 years old coming there. We have moms that come in with the kids, and they're in the baby carriage watching the kids play. I mean, it's a good feeling. And we've had some kids who play soccer in the wintertime come in and play soccer inside the building. And that's what we wanted. We're talking about Little League baseball, T-ball. We're talking about soccer. We're talking about tag football, indoor basketball, outdoor basketball, anything arts and music, anything that this money will be used to help. Like yesterday we had a mom say, oh, my daughter wants to take dancing. You know how much it costs, buddy? If I had the money, we would give it to them.
Yeah.
To go take those dancing classes. Beautiful young girl, and you know she's going to be a star when she grows up.
Buddy, thanks very much and good luck.
And thank you, WBSM and Jim Phillips, for having me here.